Hello, hello, everybody. This is Joey Laswell again with Made Up Memphis podcast, and I have another lovely guest, and I wanted to introduce her to you guys. All right, just tell us your name and what you do.
Well, greetings. My name is Carolyn Micheal-Banks, and I'm the cultural curator and owner of a tour called A Tour of Possibilities here in Memphis, Tennessee.
And then I'm just curious, how did you get started in this industry?
I actually got started now way before many of you were born. We're
Okay.
talking about in the 70s.
Okay.
But I actually started in Washington, D.C., what a perfect place to start in a tourism career. I ended up being relocated by my company to Savannah, Georgia, then relocated to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and then I met the man of my dreams who got me to Memphis, a whole nother story. But the reason why I started doing what I was doing was because when I became the general manager of the company I was working for, I thought I had some authority. I don't know, you get a promotion, you think you have authority.
Right.
And one of the things I chose to do was to add African American history to our script. And I'm thinking this is the best thing since sliced bread. However, my CEO didn't quite agree. And he said he was getting calls and letters that people were just too uncomfortable with this information.
Ah, okay.
And I understood that, it might, but it's just history.
Yeah.
And it needed to be included.
Absolutely.
So after I was moved several places, I got downsized, which felt like one of the worst things that could have happened. But that's when I started my company, A Tour of Possibilities, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Oh, so Philly. Okay. All right. So you got your start. You started in Philadelphia. How long did you do it in Philadelphia?
I had my business there for 5 years until I met the man of my dreams who put a ring on it. Yes, he did.
There you go.
And he was from Philly but lived in Memphis.
Okay.
And that's how I got here.
Awesome. Okay. I'm in a similar boat. I'm a transplant. I've been here about 3 years now. Loved every second of it, and I think that it's just a great city. So you're here. You said you came here for a significant other. But what has been the inspiration to do what you did in Philadelphia, but then bring it over to Memphis?
Great question. I was so enamored with history as an adult, not as a child. Only reason why I passed history as a child was because the rule in my house was a C was only to be the letter of my first name and nothing else. But when I started studying African American history, I was connected to it for the very first time.
Yes.
And I knew very little about Memphis before I moved here. I knew that Dr. King was assassinated here. I knew that barbecue was really huge. And I knew that Elvis still walked the planet. But when I started doing research, I was blown away. And as I said, I've done tours in many other cities. But the history here, the hardest part for me developing this tour was figuring what I could leave out. Because there just isn't enough time.
Yeah.
Our tours are 2.5 hours. And if I would have gone into all that I had learned, we're talking 4, 5, 6 hours.
Wow.
There's so much history here hidden in plain sight. And so many people don't know it, not just the transplants.
Right.
But I'm finding a lot of our Memphians, born and raised, like in most cities,
Sure.
don't know the gems here.
All right. So you do daily tours. How many tours do you usually do a day? Or
So we are set up to do tours Thursdays through Sundays by reservation. Mondays through Wednesdays, we have it for private tours and for group tours. Because the van we use is 10 passengers. But a lot of our larger groups, of course, we don't want them running on the side of the vehicle, so we actually, work with a local bus company. So
Okay.
we can operate up to 56 people.
okay. And what's the biggest one you've done so far?
Gosh. The largest we've ever done was with St. Jude.
Oh, okay.
And we had a 3-bus move. So we had
Wow.
3 buses full of people.
And you had
And what
the-
an organization to partner with.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, I mean, obviously St. Jude has been great to the city of Memphis, and we wouldn't know what to do without it. As far as
And their history,
yeah,
especially as it connects to African American history. And that's what gives me so much joy. There's so much that we know, but we just don't know the next part of it. And
yeah.
when you think about why Danny Thomas started St. Jude, when he was a struggling actor, he heard of a young African American boy in this area that had been tragically injured by something, but he was taken from hospital to hospital only to be rejected because of the color of his skin.
Oh, wow.
And it was Danny Thomas who said, oh, no, I will treat all children. And so he started the very first integrated hospital in the South in 1962.
Wow. And now look, it's become a beacon for the whole
Yes.
world. Like
Yes.
it's a center for, people come here from around the world to study, to learn.
That's right.
So man, that's
And
a
it's in
great
our backyard.
Yeah, it's a great story. It's a great story. And so when it comes to, your love for Memphis is like a newfound love, but
Yeah.
it sounds like you've really gone into, you really internalized um, the history of Memphis. As a nonprofit, we're interested in helping young people with their mental health and their financial literacy, um, and obviously, when you study history, you also see some things repeat, and some things we don't learn our lessons sometimes. So what's, from your historical expertise, what are some things that, like, maybe even the city of Memphis can do to change things around and have a more positive outlook and future?
And I think what's become really clear to me based on how things are going right now, where there's legislation that says we will not be teaching African American history, and for me it's unfortunate because many people only think our history is slavery.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're also choosing not to talk about those who were resilient. And that's where the rest of the story lies.
Yes.
There are horrific things that happened here, but it's the resilience, the fact that we have a mayor who happens to be African American, the head of the police department who happens to be an African American. Back in the day, that could not even have been conceived.
Oh yeah. It wouldn't even be a possible thought.
Exactly.
Right.
Thus the name, a tour of possibilities.
There you go.
But that's the thing. And for me, the story is understanding that in spite of it all, in fact, I almost called the company the In Spite of Tour, but in spite of it all, so much has happened. And that's what we need to focus on, even and more so today.
Yes.
In spite of all that is presently going on today, there's more for us to do. But we have to focus on the right things.
Yes.
And not understanding what happened in the past is the wrong thing.
Right.
Because a lot of good came out of the mess. And that's where our focus needs to be.
Yes. I love that. So what is your vision for the company, for the city of Memphis? Like what are your hopes for your endeavor?
Sure. We just finished celebrating 11 years.
Oh wow.
Nothing but God. But what we're doing, we're shifting our focus from individual travelers to groups. And groups specifically are businesses in Memphis. Because we're of the belief if you could have people working for the city, it might behoove them to know a little bit more about the city. It just might. It just might.
Just a little bit.
And we're starting to work with universities, so as part of their orientation program, and local businesses as part of their orientation program. So
Okay.
that's the kind of the pivot we're making. We're not leaving our individual travelers alone,
Right.
but we are looking a larger perspective, and we might be going global. I may be
wow.
taking people to Ghana sooner rather than later.
Wow, that is
Yeah.
amazing. I love that. And it just goes to show the connections. I'm sure you get international travelers coming through, and the stories that they tell of, like, how did you get to Memphis, Tennessee? And so I'm sure that I could probably follow you along, do a documentary, and have just so much content to last for forever. But I would like to do a ride along, and maybe we could do something where I actually do your tour, and like learn just like every other Memphian who deserves to learn all this history too.
We could make that happen.
Yes, because I've enjoyed you. You're on Instagram. Tell us how to find you on Instagram.
ATOP Memphis.
ATOP Memphis.
ATOP Memphis.
All right.
And we can be reached online on our website, atopmemphis.com.
And then if you had to wow somebody with a gee whiz fact about Memphis, what would be your go-to, like, just right out the gate punch?
Gosh. The first thing that comes to mind, and a lot happens up here, which is scary, is just how we got our name. The fact that the founders, that I put in air quotes because it's hard to find something that someone else found before you, but the fact that the founders in the early 1800s knew of the Memphis in Africa, capital of Egypt, and knew of its greatness. And it's the greatness that they recognize, which is why they called us and named us Memphis back in 1819. And I think if just we know that,
Yeah.
that to me is important, that we were named for greatness. And we just need to continue to live into and work into working that as our main focus, our
Yes.
greatness.
Yes. Ooh, I think I just got a little goosebumps there. That was amazing. And so we got ATOP Memphis is where we can find you on Instagram. What about like a website or anything like that?
atopmemphis.com.
atopmemphis.com.
I'm trying to
Okay.
keep it simple because
Yeah.
I'm an old head. Just saying.
Oh man. So what's another last thing? What is something that you would say to try to bring people to Memphis, other than like the what people think about it is generally associate like barbecue and music, but what is something that you would think would actually surprisingly be interesting to people to draw them to Memphis?
For me, it's just the amount of history here.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I get such joy from is when people finish the tour and one of their first statements is, I just had no idea. I had absolutely no idea all of this was here.
Yeah.
And when Memphians tell that to me, it's like I woke up right today. But I think that's it. I mean, because it's really hard to pinpoint anything in particular, but knowing so much is here that they never would have imagined. And unfortunately, they don't know
Yeah.
whether
Yeah.
they're from here or not.
Yeah. Okay. And do you guys have you have multiple tours, or are you the single point of?
Oh no, Miss Jackie here,
Miss Jackie?
out
Okay.
of film view right now.
All right, well,
Can you
let's go
turn a
see
little
it.
bit? There she is.
Okay, here we go. All right.
So not only, and then we have Devin Emery here as well, not here with us, but this woman not only gives tours, she also does her own one-woman show with the one and only, or for the one and only, Harriet Tubman.
Oh, wow.
So when you talk about someone who knows some history,
Yeah.
and she has her own show, I mean, that's why I was blessed
Yeah.
to have someone who has that kind of background in terms of the arts, but that particular background is works well in what we do.
Yeah.
The gentleman we have, Devin Emery, he used to be a professor at Morehouse.
Wow.
So I mean, when
Yeah.
you come, you're getting some stuff.
Yeah. Okay. And are you, if you guys do expand, are you guys looking at new tour guides, and how is that? Is that like a vetting process? A quiz challenge? Like how do you how would you vet like a new tour
Well, let me
guide?
tell you how God works, and how I met Jackie was we were working on a Fort Pillow project where they just started recognizing the soldiers who were killed, murdered at Fort Pillow.
Yeah.
That's how we connected. With Devin, someone introduced me to him because they knew how much he loved history.
Yeah.
So I seem to, they come because it takes a lot to do this.
Yeah.
It's not like I could just go on the street and say, you want to be a tour?
Right.
This takes so much work that they have to do on their own.
Right. Yeah.
And it's not like I can just, show you how to work a cash register. I mean, you've got to get deep. And so the learning never stops.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we enjoy so much, that the learning never stops. And you can never know it all.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, this city, if y'all don't know, this is the place, in
Yeah.
spite of the mess you may be hearing.
Right. Absolutely. And I think that's what I've loved about your content, is that you're telling the stories factually without any kind of bias. You're just, this is what happened, and you're also giving it that context, that cultural context of this is what was happening at the time. So I think that gives people more to work with and more to internalize the history a little bit better. So I just wanted to say thank you for you and what you're doing.
And they're applauding you.
They're applauding. No, applauding you. They're applauding you. but how we can find you on ATOP Memphis, atopmemphis.com, and I mean, any last requests or any last things you want to share to a new audience?
Don't hesitate.
Okay.
Because what we've seen very recently, that many of our historic sites can be gone in a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
Whether it's arson or whether it's Mother Nature.
Yeah.
Don't hesitate on learning the richness of this city. That's what's going to bring us through all this mess.
Yes.
Understanding how blessed we are to be in this city.
I love that. I think it's a great point to end on. Thank you so much again for jumping on this with me. We're gonna have this out for on our socials, but then we're gonna send it to you so you can put it on your socials if you want.
Thank you.
And just keep doing what you're doing. We love it. And thank you so much. And that's gonna be it for this episode.
Thank you.